Let's listen in here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Jacobson. I am the Commissioner of Public Safety, and it's my honor to serve in that position. We're here today to give some updates on the current investigation. First off, I would like to thank the law enforcement agencies and the public out there who are being vigilant, our law enforcement partners who are watching out for others in our community, the understanding and patience of the public as we work to find this individual and bring that person to justice. We know that it's been a difficult day for not only those who have worked with those legislators, but it's also a difficult day for those in the state of Minnesota who are working through this terrible tragedy. Today we have a few speakers who are going to, again, give some updates, and we will be available to answer some questions once all the speakers have had that opportunity to say a few words. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Drew Evans of the BCA.
Thanks, Commissioner. And today we are asking for the public's help at this point in time in locating Vance Boelter, who is a 57-year-old white male who's 6 feet 1 inch tall, 220 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. I know this name has been reported in the media so far, and we are confirming he's a person of interest that we are looking to locate in relation to this. At this time, we would ask the public, if you do locate him or see him, to call 911. Do not approach him. You should consider him armed and dangerous, and you should call 911 immediately with the information. He was seen last this morning wearing light-colored cowboy hat that you can see up here in the clothing there, with dark-colored long-sleeve collared shirt or coat, light pants, and carrying a dark bag. If you have any tips about the whereabouts or any information that would be helpful, you can call local police department, or you can call our BCA tip line at 877-996-6222, or email us at bca.tips@state.mn.us. We still don't know if additional people are involved, but this individual is the one that we're looking as a person of interest right now. But there may be other people with him, and we would like to speak to anybody that may have had contact with him at any point in time. So please connect with us, even if this has been some time ago today, so that we can follow up and continue to work together to keep our communities safe. And we, as the Commissioner noted, we'll take some questions at the end. But again, we are seeking the assistance of the public in locating him. I want to continue to say, as you see, there's hundreds of law enforcement officers working on this right now for the partners that you see up here today, as well from Champlin, Brooklyn Park, the State Patrol, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, FBI, ATF, just a myriad of partners working to try to locate this individual. And with that, I will turn it over to the mayor, and we'll answer questions at the end.
So hi, my name is Hollis Winston, Mayor of the City of Brooklyn Park. First, I want to extend my prayers to the Hoffman family, but also to the Hortman family as well. You know, there will come a time down the road for healing within us as a community, but right now I think what's required is a calming words and rhetoric. I want folks to make sure they listen to the facts from credible sources like law enforcement, but also to resist spreading misinformation. And then again, asking folks to listen to law enforcement in general when law enforcement has those specific asks. In Brooklyn Park and Champlin and our surrounding communities, in fact the state, we're very much family. The Hoffman and Hortman families are very much our family, and so our prayers continuously go out to them, and it's very much a time for us to come together as a community and as a family. And I think people need to see it that way. I want to thank law enforcement, Governor Walz, Commissioner Jacobson, Sheriff Witt, FBI, various counties, local law enforcement. Even with our city of Brooklyn Park, we're seeing a ton of local law enforcement and county law enforcement just supporting our city overall, and we want to thank them for doing that. They're dedicated to keeping us safe and to securing justice. I would say to support them again, if you have information, there'll be information behind me, please share that information, and again, please look and listen for valid information and share that. There will be a time to come together, and I think specifically for the city of Brooklyn Park and within our area, there'll be a time where we come together and we work through what we're going through now as a community. But I want to say this. You know, this individual did this to instill fear into our community, but they also wanted to create a distinct and singular point of view. When I listed all of that law enforcement coming together, that was really us as a state, as a community, from all different walks of life coming together to work on what's happening. And I received calls from folks across the state, from all different ethnicities and communities as well, with an outpouring of support. So I want people to understand that as a city, but as a state, as a community, we're very much going to come together. We're going to see this through. And we're all going to work together to figure this out. So again, I want to thank our law enforcement, and I want to turn it over to the Mayor of Champlin Park.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Sabis, Mayor of Champlin, and on behalf of the City of Champlin, our Police Department, and our City Council, I want to extend a heartfelt thoughts and prayers to Senator John Hoffman and Representative Melissa Hortman and their families. We are deeply saddened by the senseless act of violence, and our hearts are with all those that have been affected. Our police department is working close partnership with state, local, and federal agencies to pursue this active investigation. We are incredibly grateful for their swift and responsible professional response and for the collaboration of commitment of every officer involved. We ask everyone to stay attentive, report anything that feels concerning, and most of all, continue to show kindness, respect, and care for one another. This is how we move forward together. And again, thank you all for being here. And again, I think Mayor Winston said it well that Hoffman family and the Hortman family are very much part of our communities, part of our fabric of our communities. And we really wish the families all the best. Thank you.
As folks have said, we'll take a few questions. Please don't forget to, on your first question, introduce yourself, your immediate organization with whom you're with, and if you have a question for a specific individual, call that out. Thank you.
From Fox 9, do you have an update on Senator Hoffman's condition?
The question was, do we have an update on Senator Hoffman's condition? We don't at this time. The last information we had is that he was out of surgery and was in stable condition at that time, but that certainly experienced significant injuries, so we'll have to continue to monitor that.
Jen Schultz, Care 11, you said person of interest, so not a suspect, or is...
He's a suspect, one and the same for this particular case at this point in time.
Okay, so we can say suspect.
You can say suspect.
Adam Duxter with WCCO News. You know this guy. It was at least affiliated with some sort of security company, according to its own website, that has highly trained security individuals. Can you speak to the level of knowledge this person might have about, using a gun or, different security tactics that might separate him from a typical person walking down the street?
Yes, so the question was regarding the sophistication of the individual based on reports that he owned a security company. I certainly can't get into the details of the investigation. That'll all be part of that, and we'll explore all of that. We're aware of the connections that you reference, and the team will be dissecting that between the investigators, Brooklyn Park Police Department, and all of the state, the local, and federal partners that are working on that. Certainly, an individual will have some familiarity if that's the line of work that they're in with some of the tactics that you noted, but we'll be exploring that more fully.
One question about the photo that we're seeing in the cowboy hat and the jacket. Is that photo taken today?
That photo is today.
And is it from a ring camera at the residence of either of our lawmakers?
The question is it from a ring camera? It's not. This is from a business, so this is at a business location. And there, we believe, as noted, that we believe he's was still in at this time. He was in the Twin Cities area, and that we are continuing to work and follow up on that. We believe he's working to potentially flee the area, and so that's why we're sharing that with that information now, so that we can safely apprehend him.
Is there a way that you're in touch with the TSA? I know Governor Walz has been in contact with federal agencies, as you have mentioned with the FBI.
Yep.
Are airlines, seeing his pictures so he doesn't board a plane?
So the question is, are we in contact with TSA? We've been in contact with all of the federal authorities that are relevant to this investigation. We will continue to be.
Are you able to share the time or location that photo was taken today?
The question is, can I share the time and location? This was this morning when this was taken. It was in the city of Minneapolis. That's at this point, I think, all that we can share as we work to follow up on that.
Are there any surveillance or ring camera video from either of the residents where the shootings take place?
The question is, there's surveillance or ring camera. We do have various video from different locations. I don't want to get into specifics as part of the active investigation, but there is video that has been obtained by the investigators.
Can you talk about some of the other locations that you guys are working on, Green Isle, maybe in the 49th, Fremont, and
So, yeah, we can. The question is, can we talk about some of the other locations? You know, because our teams are very active as part of an active investigation, I can't talk about the specifics. What I will tell you is the two locations you noted in Minneapolis and in Green Isle, they are related to this investigation and the follow-up that the teams are doing.
I'm going to give it to Ellen, and then we're going to have one more question.
Can you talk a little bit more about the manifesto and what kind of motivation it might be? We're told that there might be some pro-choice lawmakers on this manifesto. If that has anything to do with the motivation here?
At this point in time, it would be premature. The question was, is the manifesto and the information that we have received as their motivations. We are working diligently on that. There's certainly some indications within that, but there's not specifics enough. We have been, this is a very active and fluid investigation. Throughout the day, as you've been waiting and these teams have been out working out in the field, and they have been gathering more documents and information, so it would be premature for me at this point to really say exactly what the motivation might be from these writings, but we will be continuing to work on that and provide that information when we're able.
You Mr. Walker Senior from the search team. Do you have a sense, did they know each other? Like, did this man know either Representative Hortman or Senator Hoffman in any capacity?
The question is, did they know each other in any capacity? We are still exploring that. There's certainly some overlap with some, public meetings, I will say, with Senator Hoffman and the individual, but we don't know the nature of the relationship or if they actually knew each other.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right, we just heard from the BSA, Drew Evans, as well as mayors of Brooklyn Park, Champlin, and other officials with an update that we are still looking for person of interest, suspect.
Suspect now they are calling him. It said person of interest, suspect, all one and the same. Now, what they did do is release a photo that was taken this morning, is what they told us, in the city of Minneapolis. This is of, they believe, Vance Boelter, the suspect now.
There it is,
in
with the
case.
Cowboy hat.
Right.
And
so
the blue jeans.
They believe he is still in the Twin Cities area, but they also say they think he's working to flee this area. They say they've been in contact. When asked if they had been in contact with the TSA, the head of the BCA said that they've been in contact with all federal authorities that are relating to this investigation in this case. They also confirmed that they are looking at two other locations, one of them in North Minneapolis, the other, the one that we've showed you, Belter's home down in Green Isle, but these are all related to the investigation.
Our Adam Duxter asked an interesting question about the knowledge, tactics, sophistication of this suspect because of his involvement with a security company in his background. And what we basically heard was, yes, that is something they're taking into consideration, that his level of planning and also understanding, or even his use of weapon, his history in that is something that they are taking into consideration. This is a look at the vehicle that the suspect used, that you can see it looks like any other law enforcement vehicle. You can see the lights, you can see the markings on it, would make anyone think that,
on the front.
Make you think that that's official law enforcement. And this was some video that our photojournalists and Maria Lizignoli got earlier this afternoon as that vehicle was removed, because obviously they'll be combing through that for additional evidence. But I think the big headline here is that this suspect is still on the run right now, considered armed and dangerous. They are looking for the public's help with any small piece of information. We believe he is armed. He should not be approached. Call 911 if you do believe you see him or saw him at any point today, because that can help with figuring out some of the timeline of where he's been since this morning. We do know that along with that cowboy hat, he was carrying a bag. We don't know what necessarily was in that, if it was additional weapons and ammunition or what. But the other thing I think that we heard from the Brooklyn Park mayor is that it's really important right now to be looking for valid information from valid sources, because they've already noticed misinformation that is out there. I'm guessing a lot of that coming from social media, as is typically the case, because that's not vetted, and that the fact is that this was an attempt to instill fear in everyone here in Minnesota.
Right. Let's go out to our Adam Duxter. He is at the Emergency Operations Center, so he was just in person there as they were giving us all of this updates. Adam, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Heather, we knew and were reporting the name and age of Vance Boelter before this press conference, but what we did learn that I find particularly interesting and will be a cause for concern for many people who are watching is that the security photo that the folks shared with us here today at the Emergency Operations Center was snapped or taken from a Minneapolis-based business this morning. He's wearing entirely different clothes. He's in an entirely different city, and again, the folks we heard from say he's working to actively flee the area. And we know, we've been watching all morning, that local, state, federal law enforcement had essentially a barricade around those neighborhoods right near where this could have happened early this morning and overnight. And effectively, this tells us he was able to get out of that area, right? This photo taken in Minneapolis showing him in that cowboy hat, in that dark long sleeve colored shirt or coat, again with light pants and a dark bag. So he is no longer in that area. And again, Drew Evans from the BCA saying they have reason to believe he's actively working to flee right now. Again, they talked in this press conference about being in touch with TSA, being in touch with any sort of, folks who could spot him trying to get out of town. We do know they've been near his home, southwest of the cities, to try and, again, establish that as another possible location he could go to. Just incredibly frustrating, I'm sure, for these law enforcement officers who, as we've seen, have been going door to door, literally, in this neighborhood, trying to find him this morning and all morning. Again, this photo that they shared, taken from a Minneapolis business this morning, that's all state investigators would be able to share with us. Again, they say if you see him, call 911. You have every reason to believe that he is armed, and you have every reason to believe that he is dangerous. And again, they shared that he could possibly be working with the help of others. They called him a suspect, a person of interest. Drew Evans from the BCA said they're one and the same to us at this point. And the last fascinating thing that we learned is that there is reason to believe at this point that they could have known each other, meaning Melissa Hortman and Vance Boelter could have known each other. We do know that Boelter was appointed in a government role, more or less, and the BCA says they're working. They say there could have been overlap with meetings at this point, so incredibly personal, we're learning here just within the last 20 minutes or so. But again, guys, the big thing, they are asking people to either call that tip line they've set up. Again, we've got the number right here. I'm sure we could get on the screen. That's 877-996-6222. Or they say if you see this guy, call 911 right away, because they do think he is armed and dangerous at this point. But again, the big thing, he is, they have every reason to believe potentially not in that area anymore, because that photo, that surveillance photo, entirely different clothing, taken this morning in the city of Minneapolis.
All right, Adam Duxter here. And Adam, it's important to note here that they believe he's no longer in the area, as you just mentioned. Brooklyn Park PD telling us that there's no longer a need for people in this neighborhood to shelter in place. They say the suspect is not in custody, and again, reason to believe that they are no longer in that area. So we'll continue to check back in with Adam.